You see, love has a strange way of finding us. Not when we're ready, not when we're perfect, but when we're being real. The love of your life isn't the one who comes to make everything easy, but the one who comes to wake something deep inside you. Real love doesn't just hold your hand, it holds up a mirror. It shows you who you are and who you still have the potential to become. And that is why true love is never just about comfort, it's about growth. Think about it. If love only made us feel good, it wouldn't change us. But the love that's meant for you will stretch you. It will make you uncomfortable at times. It will make you confront your fears, your insecurities, your own resistance to growth. You'll find yourself facing moments where you're challenged to be more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, more honest. You'll realize that love is not only about being accepted, it's about being awakened. It's a quiet invitation to rise beyond your limitations. When someone truly loves you, they don't let you stay small. They see your potential, even when you can't see it yourself. They encourage you to chase that dream you've buried. They remind you that your doubts are not facts. They don't let you quit on yourself because they know you're capable of more. They push you, not to control you, but to free you from the prison of your own fears. You might resist it at first, you might even mistake it for conflict. But with time you'll understand. It's love disguised as growth. And yet, many people run from that kind of love, because it's easier to stay where it's comfortable, where no one questions you, where you can remain exactly who you are. But comfort zones are where we decay. Love that keeps you small isn't love, it's fear wearing the mask of affection. The love of your life will not leave you where it found you. It will challenge your habits, your mindset, your very sense of identity. It will pull you out of patterns that no longer serve you. It will make you stronger, wiser, and more alive. There will be moments when that growth hurts. You'll feel exposed, uncertain, even fragile. But remember, just as a seed must crack to grow, your old self must break open for something new to emerge. True love is not about holding on to your comfort. It's about holding on to each other as you both evolve. You'll find that the more you grow, the more your connection deepens. Because it's no longer based on dependency, but on discovery. You begin to see that love is not two people standing still together. It's two souls walking side by side, growing through every storm and every sunrise. When you love someone who pushes you to grow, you'll start to see the world differently. You'll notice that every challenge becomes a lesson, every argument becomes a mirror, and every moment together becomes a step towards greater awareness. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Love, in its truest form, transforms your perception. It turns pain into wisdom, misunderstanding into compassion, and time into evolution. But the beauty of it all is that real love doesn't force change. It inspires it. You change not because you're told to, but because love opens your eyes to who you could be. It's not about losing yourself, it's about finding the version of yourself that's been waiting to be seen. And the one who truly loves you will celebrate that discovery, not fear it. They won't hold you back when you start to shine. They'll stand beside you proud because they know your light doesn't dim theirs. It amplifies it. This kind of love is rare because it demands courage. It asks you to be vulnerable, to confront your truth, to surrender the idea that love is supposed to be perfect. It's not. Love is beautifully imperfect, gloriously human. It's two people constantly learning how to love better, how to forgive deeper, how to listen more fully. It's not a fairy tale, it's a classroom for the soul. Every day you're given lessons, some gentle, some hard, and through them you grow closer to yourself and to each other. Sometimes you'll look back and realize that love didn't give you what you wanted, but it gave you what you needed. It didn't always soothe you. Sometimes it shook you. But in that shaking, you woke up. You learned that love is not just a feeling, but a force, one that expands you, stretches you, and teaches you how to become whole. And when you meet someone who loves you in that way, don't run. Don't hide from the discomfort. Stay, grow, and let that love refine you. Because the love of your life is not the one that makes you forget who you are. It's the one that helps you remember. In the end, the truest love is not the one that completes you. It's the one that makes you realize you were already complete, just waiting for someone to remind you. We often imagine love as a perfect union, two flawless souls meeting in divine harmony. But real love has nothing to do with perfection. Real love begins the moment the illusion fades. When the shine wears off, when you're no longer trying to impress, when your flaws stand naked before another person, that's when love truly starts. The love of your life isn't the one who only adores your strengths, your smiles, your best days. It's the one who sees your cracks, your confusion, your hidden fears, and still says, I choose you. Not once, not twice, but again and again, even when it's hard. You see, anyone can love the version of you that laughs, that wins, that seems put together. But it takes someone rare to love the version that doubts, that fails, that cries when no one's looking. The love of your life doesn't just stand with you when the sun is shining. They stay when the sky collapses. They don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be honest. They understand that love isn't about finding a flawless person. It's about seeing the real person and embracing them fully. And isn't that the most beautiful thing? To be seen, truly seen, and still be loved. Not for what you do, not for what you give, but simply for who you are. That kind of love is rare because it's raw. It asks you to be vulnerable, to drop the masks, to allow yourself to be known. And that's not easy. Because we live in a world that teaches us to hide our flaws, to present the polished version, to earn affection through perfection. But love that must be earned isn't love, it's performance. The love of your life doesn't make you perform. They make you feel safe enough to be real. They'll witness your worst moments and not use them against you. They'll see your temper, your insecurities, your self-doubt, and instead of running, they'll lean in with understanding. They know that behind every flaw is a story. Behind every defense is a wound. And they don't judge the wound. They hold space for its healing. They're not here to fix you, but to love you as you find your way. That's why you'll know it's real. Because you'll never feel like you have to hide the messy parts of your soul. In fact, real love brings those parts into the light. When someone truly loves you, you stop being afraid of your own imperfections. You stop pretending. You start healing. Because for the first time, you realize that being imperfect doesn't make you unworthy of love. It makes you human. And when you're loved in your humanness, it changes everything. You begin to love yourself differently too. The love of your life becomes a mirror, not to show you what's wrong with you, but to remind you that even the broken pieces belong. You see, Love that sees your flaws is not weak, it's wise. It doesn't confuse mistakes with identity. It understands that people are not their worst moments. The one who truly loves you knows that growth takes time. They have patience for your process. They don't give up on you when you stumble. They stand by you because they see the direction your heart is moving. They recognize your efforts, even when the results aren't visible yet. That kind of love gives you the courage to keep trying, to keep evolving, to keep becoming a better version of yourself. Not out of fear of losing them, but out of gratitude for being loved as you are. There will be times, of course, when love feels difficult, when you hurt each other unintentionally, when misunderstandings arise. But even then, the love of your life doesn't hold resentment like a weapon. They choose forgiveness, not because they're weak, but because they understand that love is not a battle to be won, it's a space to be nurtured. And in that space, both people are allowed to make mistakes and learn. You'll argue, you'll disagree, but you'll return. Not because it's convenient, but because you both value the connection more than your pride. And you'll notice something remarkable. When someone loves you through your flaws, you become softer. You start letting go of the walls you built. You stop pretending to be invincible. You learn that it's okay to not always be okay. And in that acceptance, a deeper kind of love grows. One that is not based on control, but on freedom. You're free to be yourself, free to evolve, free to breathe without fear of rejection. Because you know, truly know, that their love is not conditional on your perfection. The love of your life doesn't make you feel small for your weaknesses. They make you feel seen in them. They remind you that even your flaws have beauty, that your past doesn't define your worth, that your mistakes don't erase your value. They see all of you, the light, the shadow, the in-between, and still their heart chooses to stay. Not out of obligation, not out of need, but out of understanding. Because real love is not blind, it sees everything and loves anyway. And when you find that kind of love, don't take it for granted. It's not the kind of love that demands perfection. It's the kind that builds connection. It's not always pretty, but it's real. It teaches you that love is not about finding someone flawless. It's about finding someone whose flaws you can understand and whose soul feels like home. Because in the end, the love of your life is not the one who completes your picture. It's the one who accepts your unfinished masterpiece and still sees it as beautiful. There is something profoundly misunderstood about love in the modern world. We have been taught to equate love with excitement, with intensity, with the kind of passion that burns bright and fast, the fireworks, the chaos, the endless chase. But that kind of love, beautiful as it seems, often leaves us exhausted. It consumes us instead of completing us. The love of your life, the real one, won't always feel like a storm. It will feel like still water, deep, calm, and endlessly steady. You will know it not because it makes your heart race, but because it makes your soul rest. It's easy to mistake drama for connection. So many people confuse emotional turbulence with depth. But peace, real peace, is not boring. It's the quiet assurance that you are safe, that you are understood, that you don't have to keep proving your worth to be loved. The love of your life won't make you anxious. It will make you grounded. When you are with them, the noise of the world begins to fade. You stop trying to perform. You stop worrying about what comes next. You begin to exist fully in the present moment. There's something deeply spiritual about that kind of connection. It's not built on constant stimulation or the need for more. It's built on presence. You find joy in the simple things, sitting in silence, sharing a meal, walking without words. You no longer crave grand gestures because peace itself becomes the greatest gift. The love of your life doesn't bring you fireworks, it brings you sunrise, gentle, consistent, and full of quiet light. When you're with them, you don't have to fight for attention or question their feelings. You just know. There is a stillness between you, a kind of silent understanding that doesn't need to be explained. That's what peace feels like. Not absence of emotion, but balance. It's not that there won't be disagreements or moments of tension. Of course there will. But even then, there's no desire to destroy or to win. You both come back to peace because you value harmony over ego. You realize that the goal isn't to be right. It's to stay connected. Many people spend their lives chasing the thrill of being wanted, but the love of your life gives you something greater, the comfort of being known. And that changes everything. Because once you've experienced peace in love, you can never go back to chaos. You stop mistaking anxiety for passion. You stop needing constant reassurance. You begin to understand that love doesn't have to hurt to be real. It can be gentle. It can be kind. It can be soft and still change your entire world. This peace comes from trust. Not blind trust, but earned trust. It grows slowly through consistency, honesty, and time. You learn that real love doesn't rush. It unfolds naturally. It allows space for both people to breathe. There's no need for manipulation, no testing, no games. You communicate openly, not to control the outcome, but to understand each other. You realize that love doesn't thrive in tension, it flourishes in truth. And this is why peace is such a powerful sign. Because when love is right, it feels effortless. Not because life is easy, but because your hearts are aligned. You stop feeling like you're walking on eggshells. You don't feel drained after every conversation. Instead, you feel replenished. It's as if the relationship becomes a sanctuary, a place where your mind can rest and your spirit can expand. You can finally be yourself without fear of judgment. You can dream, fail, laugh, and cry, and still feel held. But to receive that kind of peace, you must first be ready for it. You must have faced your own chaos. You must have learned the difference between excitement and alignment. Because peaceful love cannot enter a heart still addicted to drama. Many people reject peace because it feels unfamiliar. They say, something's missing, when in truth, nothing is missing. They're just not used to stability. The love of your life will not always make your heart race. Sometimes it will make you slow down, breathe, and see the beauty in simplicity. And when you experience this kind of love, you'll notice how it affects every part of your being. You'll sleep better. You'll think clearer. Your creativity will expand because your heart is no longer in survival mode. You won't be waiting for the next argument or doubting every word. You'll live lighter because peace in love gives you freedom. The freedom to live fully without fear of loss or betrayal. You'll begin to understand that peace is not the absence of passion, but the highest form of it. It's the kind of passion that doesn't burn out, it sustains. This is the love that helps you grow, not through struggle, but through stillness. It reminds you that real intimacy isn't about intensity. It's about safety. When you find the person who gives you peace, you realize that home isn't a place. It's a presence. It's not what you do together, but how you feel together. You stop searching for excitement because you've found something greater, contentment. And when you look at them, really look, you'll see that the most extraordinary thing about love is how ordinary it feels when it's right. There's no need to chase it or control it. You just live it. You just breathe it. Because when it's real, love doesn't disturb your peace, it becomes your peace. There is something extraordinary about finding someone who not only loves you, but also understands where you're going. Most people fall in love with a moment, with the way someone looks, the way they speak, the spark of chemistry that feels like magic. But that kind of love, as powerful as it is, often fades when paths diverge. The love of your life isn't just someone who fits perfectly into your present. It's someone whose vision aligns with your future. It's not just love between two hearts, but harmony between two directions. When you meet someone whose dreams complement yours, it feels like something inside you clicks into place. You stop feeling like you're walking alone. You stop needing to shrink your ambitions to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Instead, you begin to grow together, not in competition, but in collaboration. The love of your life doesn't hold you back out of fear. They encourage you to move forward with courage. They don't just cheer for your victories. They believe in your purpose. And that makes all the difference. You see, many relationships struggle not because love disappears, but because the paths split. One wants to grow, the other wants to stay. One looks ahead, the other looks behind. But when you're with the right person, you walk side by side. You may move at different paces, take different turns, even stumble along the way. But your direction remains the same. You both understand that love isn't about possession. It's about progression. It's not about changing each other, but evolving together. The love of your life will not compete with your dreams. They will help you protect them. They will remind you why you started when you begin to doubt yourself. They will challenge you to think bigger when fear tells you to play small. They'll be your mirror, reflecting not just who you are, but who you can become. And you'll do the same for them. Because true partnership is not one person carrying the other. It's two people carrying the vision together. When two people share the same direction, even obstacles become opportunities. Failure doesn't divide you, it deepens your understanding. You start to see that love is not about avoiding struggle, but facing it as a team. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But rather, "What can we learn from this?" That shift, from blame to building, transforms a relationship. It becomes a space where both can grow, where both can contribute, where both can thrive. There is a quiet power in being with someone who dreams in rhythm with you. You don't need to explain why you work so hard, why you care so deeply, or why you refuse to settle. They get it. They see the fire in you because it lives in them too. You stop having to choose between love and purpose because your love becomes part of your purpose. You begin to understand that the love of your life doesn't distract you from your path. It strengthens your steps. And yet, alignment doesn't mean sameness. You don't have to share every goal or think the same way. True harmony is not about duplication, but direction. You can have different passions, different callings, different ways of seeing the world, and still move forward together. What matters is that your values connect, that your hearts understand what truly matters, that your spirits are committed to growth. Because when values align, everything else falls into place. There's also something deeply peaceful about loving someone who doesn't fear your evolution. Many relationships end when one person begins to outgrow the version of themselves the other fell in love with. But the love of your life welcomes your evolution. They don't cling to who you were. They fall in love with who you're becoming. They don't need you to stay the same to feel secure. They know that growth doesn't create distance, it creates depth. And in return, you learn to love in the same way. You stop trying to control their journey. Stop fearing the changes that come with time. You realize that real love allows space. The space to learn to fail, to rise again. You don't walk behind them or ahead of them, but beside them, matching energy, matching purpose. You start to see love not as an anchor, but as a sail. It doesn't hold you down, it helps you move forward. When love and purpose meet, life gains a kind of rhythm that feels unshakable. You wake up each day not only grateful for the person beside you, but for the shared vision that binds you together. You begin to measure your love, not by how happy you are in the moment, but by how deeply you are growing together. You understand that love isn't just an emotion to feel, it's a direction to move in. And perhaps the most beautiful part of it all is that when you both walk toward the same future, the relationship becomes bigger than either of you. It becomes something sacred, a shared creation, a journey, a living expression of purpose. You don't just build a relationship, you build a life. You don't just dream individually, you dream collectively. And that's when love becomes something greater than desire. It becomes destiny. Because in the end, the love of your life isn't the one who completes your journey. It's the one who chooses to walk it with you. It's easy to love when everything is beautiful, when life is kind, when success is near, when smiles come effortlessly. Love feels light, natural, almost effortless. But that is not the measure of real love. The real test begins when the ground shakes, when life becomes uncertain, when mistakes are made, when things no longer look like the fairy tale we once imagined. It's in those moments that the truth of love reveals itself. The love of your life isn't the one who only stays when it's easy. It's the one who chooses you when it's hard to choose. When you fall in love, you see the best in each other. The laughter, the dreams, the spark that makes every second feel alive. But time has a way of stripping away the illusions. You begin to see the human beneath the romance, the flaws, the doubts, the imperfections that can't be hidden forever. And this is where most people walk away thinking that love has faded. But it hasn't faded, it's being refined. Because true love isn't found in the perfect moments, it's proven in the imperfect ones. To choose someone when they're broken, when they've failed, when they're not their best, that's love in its purest form. It's not a love based on conditions or convenience, but on commitment. It's not about saying, I love you. When everything feels right, it's about saying, I'm here, when everything feels wrong. The love of your life will not abandon you when you falter. They will see through your weakness to the strength that still lives beneath it. They will stay, not out of obligation, but because they know your soul and they believe in your becoming. And that kind of loyalty is rare, because the world has taught us to run when things get complicated, to replace instead of repair, to give up when love stops feeling easy. But the love of your life will not see difficulty as a reason to leave. They'll see it as an invitation to deepen the bond. When they say they love you, they mean they'll love you through it. Through the uncertainty, through the silence, through the storms that life inevitably brings. Sometimes love doesn't look romantic at all. It looks like patience. It looks like forgiveness. It looks like choosing understanding over ego. There will be moments when you hurt each other, moments when words cut deeper than intended, moments when distance feels wider than it should. But even then, the love of your life will not let pride win over connection. They'll reach out, not because it's easy, but because losing you would cost them more than their pride ever could. You'll notice that real love doesn't disappear when things get dark. In fact, that's when it shines the brightest. It's the hand that doesn't let go when the world turns cold. It's the voice that reminds you who you are when you've forgotten. It's the quiet strength that stands beside you, saying, "I'm not going anywhere." That's love. Not the constant chase for pleasure, but the steady choice to stay. The love of your life will understand that love isn't a feeling that comes and goes. It's a decision renewed every day. And that decision is not always easy. There will be seasons when you question, when you doubt, when the path ahead looks uncertain. But they'll stay not because it's simple, but because it's sacred. They'll know that love without effort is just infatuation, and effort without heart is duty. True love is the merging of both. Effort born from devotion. To choose someone again and again despite their flaws is an act of courage. It's saying, "I see you completely, the light and the shadow, and I choose you still." It's not that you ignore the pain, it's that you transform it into understanding. You stop asking for perfection and start valuing presence. You realize that what matters most isn't avoiding conflict, but never giving up on connection. And the beauty of it is that this kind of love strengthens both souls. Every trial faced together becomes a thread that binds you deeper. Every storm survived becomes proof that your bond isn't fragile. It's alive. You start to understand that love is not about avoiding brokenness, but learning how to mend with grace. When one falls, the other lifts. When one doubts, the other reminds. And together, you learn that loyalty is not the absence of hardship, but the refusal to surrender to it. This love doesn't trap you, it frees you. Because when you know that someone will choose you even in your lowest moments, you begin to relax into authenticity. You no longer fear being imperfect, because you've found someone who doesn't demand perfection to love you. And that freedom allows you to grow, to heal, to evolve. You no longer love to avoid loneliness. You love because it's an expression of truth. So when you find someone who stays, who chooses you even when the world is falling apart, who holds your hand not only when you're shining, but also when you're stumbling, cherish them. Because love like that doesn't come often. It doesn't shout, it endures. It doesn't just make promises, it keeps them. Because in the end, the love of your life is not the one who never leaves when things are easy. It's the one who stays when everything else would tell them to walk away. There's a quiet truth about love that many people overlook. The love of your life is not someone you simply find and hold on to, it's someone you continually grow with. Love is not a fixed point in time, it's a living energy that evolves. The person who is right for you today will not be the same in 10 years, and neither will you. That's the beauty of it. When love is real, it doesn't resist change, it moves with it. The love of your life is not the one who freezes time, it's the one who walks through time with you, growing, learning, and transforming alongside you. Most relationships begin with a spark. that electric rush that feels like destiny. But the spark alone cannot sustain a lifetime. What sustains love is growth, mutual evolution, and the willingness to keep rediscovering each other as you both change. You see, real love isn't about holding someone to who they were. It's about meeting who they're becoming over and over again. It's the art of falling in love with the same person, in different versions of themselves, many times throughout your journey together. And that's not always easy. Growth can be uncomfortable. People evolve at different paces, and sometimes in unexpected directions. There will be moments when you don't fully understand each other, when your paths feel uncertain, when your visions seem to stretch apart. But the love of your life will not fear that distance. They'll walk with you through it. Because they know love is not about avoiding change, but navigating it with grace. True love doesn't cling to the past version of you. It doesn't say, "You've changed, I don't recognize you." It says, "You've changed, and I want to understand who you are now." That's the difference between attachment and love. Attachment wants to keep things familiar, to preserve comfort. Love wants to grow, to explore, to deepen. It invites transformation instead of resisting it. It knows that to truly love someone is to let them expand, even when it challenges your sense of security. And in that shared evolution, something profound happens. You both begin to evolve into better versions of yourselves because of each other. The love of your life will not compete with your growth. They will celebrate it. They will see your success not as a threat, but as a shared victory. They will remind you that your purpose doesn't have to come at the cost of the relationship. It can coexist with it, even enhance it. When love is healthy, it becomes fertile ground for both to flourish. You'll notice that the strongest relationships are not built on constant agreement, but on mutual respect for each other's journey. You learn to give space without fear, to listen without trying to control, to support without losing yourself. Growth requires that kind of freedom. The freedom to express, to fail, to dream, to rebuild. When two people trust each other enough to allow that space, their love deepens beyond romance. It becomes partnership in its truest sense, a shared evolution of souls. There's a certain beauty in looking at someone you've loved for years and realizing they've changed, yet the connection feels even more real. Maybe they think differently. Maybe they've discovered new passions. Maybe they've faced their own inner storms. And you too have transformed, your edges softer, your understanding wider, your presence calmer. Yet somehow, amidst all the change, your love hasn't weakened. It has matured. It has roots now, not just wings. It no longer needs to be loud to be real. It simply is. But that growth also demands awareness. You must learn to water the relationship differently as time passes. The way you loved each other at the beginning will not be enough years later. You must keep learning how to love each other, how to communicate, how to forgive, how to listen. You must be willing to ask, who are you now? And what do you need today? Because people are not static, their hearts evolve. And the love of your life will never stop being curious about you. They'll keep rediscovering you, the same way you keep rediscovering them. In truth, growing together means allowing love to mature beyond fantasy. It's realizing that real love isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's work. Sometimes it's simply showing up when it would be easier to turn away. But every act of showing up builds something eternal. Growth is not measured by how often you laugh, but by how deeply you understand. It's found in the silence that feels safe, in the disagreements that lead to insight, in the shared resilience that comes from facing life side by side. And as you both continue to evolve, you begin to understand something profound. Love is not about ownership. It's about alignment. It's about two souls who keep choosing to grow in the same direction. Sometimes the path will twist. Sometimes it will diverge slightly, but the choice to walk together makes all the difference. You stop trying to hold on to the past, and you begin to trust the unfolding of the present. You stop chasing the feeling of love, and instead you become love, steady, patient, and alive. Because in the end, the love of your life isn't the one who promises to stay the same forever. It's the one who promises to grow with you, no matter where life leads.